Slip stitch. What is that? It's easy. I'll show you coming up. Hey, Chanel here, bringing you weekly videos to help you get better and better with your fashion sewing and be more creative too. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. So recently I was going through some of my old Sew-bit videos and I came across one. It was Sew-bit number 8. It was on how to do a slip stitch, and it was before I got all my new lights in my studio, and it was kind of dark and it just wasn't really good video, so I'm redoing it because slip stitch is one of those things, like my students are always like, how do you do a slip stitch? So I thought it's pretty important. Anyway, it is one of those words also that is in the pattern instructions, because how Sew-bit started was I went through these, thinking trying to look at how my students are reading these patterns, and they'll just say a word and then they don't really explain what it is, so then you got to go look it up. So maybe you're going to YouTube and looking it up. So this one is slip stitch. It just says turn inseam allowance on side edges of lining, slip stitch edges together over seam as shown. And it just has this little dot in it, so it doesn't really show as shown slip stitch because it's actually open. Go figure. Anyway, so I just happen to have a vest that I just made. It's kind of a joke. It was a hoppy spring vest, and this is the pattern instructions to a vest. So I thought, well, I'll just redo this whole thing. And so in a vest, there's the lining, and there's a side seam, 2 side seams obviously, but one side seam, you have to, how you turn a whole vest inside out is you have to leave a hole in it. And this one is has a rather large hole because you got to put your hand through it and pull all the pieces out. So now you have to slip stitch this hole. In those instructions, it just had a little hole, which is, no, you can't, it doesn't work anyway. So I thought I would show you how to slip stitch this hole closed. Then I found, I love this book, Sewing and Stitch Textile book, and I bought it for all the fabrics and stuff. It explains fabrics in here, and then but in the front of it, it has like all these hand stitchings, and I actually found slip stitch, and it shows that I've been doing it right all these years. And and I say that because I've actually never really studied how to hand stitch. I just kind of winged it, and basically the goal is to put 2 pieces of fabric together with a piece of thread. So that's how you do it. So I'm going to show you how to do a quick slip stitch on this vest and hopefully make it easier for you. All right, to start, I have this prepared by pressing one side and then having it kind of folded over where I need to, and I'll put like a pin in here, just the one layer, and then the goal is to sew this part there. So I have a needle. I'm going to do it with some green thread just so you can see. When we're done here, I'm going to switch it over to pink. But I put a knot on the end of that, a pretty good substantial knot, and then I also ran it through some beeswax here. You can get these in the stores, and you run it through here, and it coats the thread so that if it twists around, it doesn't get tangled basically as much. So first off, I'm going to start at an end, and I'm going to put my needle underneath here and hide the knot. So I'm going to go in like this, bring it through. You'll see, so it's already tangling right here. You see when I hide the knot, I think I did, and tuck it underneath there. So that's the first step. Then basically you run the needle underneath. Now I'm not getting the under part stuck in there basically, because try to separate it. The more you do this, you just can feel what you've got caught under there. You run the needle, and I like to use these long needles too, by the way. So I'm going to run it under through here, lift it up here, and then at the same time you want to grab a few of the other threads from the other side right there. and then you pull it out right there. And why it's called invisible is you'll just have little little threads showing there. Now, so we're on this side here, like that. Looks like that under there. And then I'm going to bring the needle again through here, through just that one layer of thread, or sorry, fabric. Bring it up, and then right here, so there's the needle edge there. And I'm going to grab another couple threads from the other side, right there. And then bring it through like that. So I'm just connecting it here. So I have it kind of far apart. You can, if you want to go closer and really tight it, it's all in the matter of where you bring that needle up. So if I just do it closer, I bring the needle up here, like that, and then through, like that. So you could go closer. It all depends. Slip stitch can just be, then you're going to take the needle, your pin out halfway through, so it's not, doesn't get in the way, because everything gets caught. You can see the threads always get caught. If it's a slip stitch, just holding something just temporarily down, you can do bigger bites. I call them bites. Or you can just go closer like this. There we go. So I'm going to go underneath and then just pick up a little piece there. I'm going to go bigger bite. I'm going to come up over here, just pick up that little thread right there, pull it through. So now I have a bigger gap versus these. You can just go really small. Depends on how secure you want it. The more secure, obviously, the more stitches. And you just go through there, go through. It's really kind of tricky to just get one layer, and I'm trying not to get any of this other layer connected, which is under here, so I can separate these right here until I can didn't get it connected. Sometimes if you get it connected too, depending on what it is, it doesn't really matter. So I'll take a couple bigger bites so we can show you how to finish this. I'm going to go through bigger bites like that. Now I'm coming up to the end right here. Make sure this is all stretched. So you can see you can see just little pricks of the green in there. So I'm going to come through here. Now again, I want to hide the knot on this side too. So I'm going to come up through to the end right there. And how I like to make my knots, this is actually kind of fun, is I just go underneath a little bit and I create a loop right there. There's the loop. And I put my needle through it once here, come back around and go through the loop again. And you can see when I pull it, it will come all together. And just knotted it right there. So it's a nice little knot right there. Then I'm going to put my needle all the way through into the lining here, and then there's the knot, which actually you can kind of see it a little much, but you can, if it was pink, it'd be hiding more. And then I just cut this off like at any layer here, actually a little bit, because if there's a thread like hanging out right here, just cut it in here and then just leave it on there. You don't want to cut, you never want to cut those real short. That's why you just draw the needle underneath and then cut it. And there is how you do a slip stitch. Okay, now you know how to slip stitch. And as I tell my students,
that was easy.
It's pretty easy. Don't dread hand sewing. It actually just takes a little minute. Just have your hand sewing tools at the ready. We keep ours on our little magnets right here and just have it ready. And then you got to slip stitch something, you just do it real quick. You know, what are you gonna do? If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments below and I'll answer them real quick. And I'll see you in another sew bit.